Festivals, music, dance and drama. You name it and we've got it. Welcome to Colors of India, the show that brings you hand-picked events which can stimulate your senses. First, the main stories. The soft tones of Santoor. Islamic traditions of China. And deciphering Tanjore art. 40 days of fasting and prayers, and finally we've arrived at Easter Sunday, and this calls for a celebration.
Despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief.
Easter celebrates the resurrection of Christ, and YMCA Delhi put together a play in honor of this day titled The Mighty Acts of God. The play included major scenes from the Old Testament enacted by amateur artists.
The dead came forth bound hand and foot. And when Abram was 90 years old, God changed his name from Abram to Abraham.
The story is from creation to the resurrection of Christ. The main aspects of it, how his birth was predicted, his saving power was predicted, and then we move into the actual birth of how he was born and the main aspects of his life as he went about preaching, healing people.
Though the production was not of the finest quality, it is the message of the play that one needs to focus on, and the fact that Jesus and his many miracles and sacrifices are fondly remembered.
And when they exclude you and revile you and cast out your name as evil on account of the Son of Man, rejoice at that day and leap for joy, for behold, your reward is great in heaven. For so their fathers did to the prophets.
The message of Christ and his teachings were all brought back through this recreation of the story of Christ. Nataraj Center for Culture had an evening that was dedicated to Pandit Shiv Sharma, and the Santoor maestro performed his magic in front of a full house. Pandit Shiv Sharma, an exceptionally gifted musician. He can make the 100 strings of the Santoor produce a complex web of sound that are both beautiful and hypnotic. So much so that his melody is often referred to as meditative. Panditji is among the few who still uphold the spiritual tradition of Indian classical music. Music that can silence the listener and make him forget to clap. Music that can create a spiritual bliss for both the performer and the audience.
Now, one personal note I would like to mention one thing here. In the Ala part, which is a very important segment of rag music, which creates the mood and gradually unfolds the rag.
The maestro started with the mesmerizing Hansdwani Rag. He was accompanied by Yogesh Samsi on the tabla and Panditji's disciple Takahiro Arai on the tanpura.
One thing about him is that he interacts with the public, first. वो बताते हैं कि हम क्या क्या कौन से चीज़ें जो भी बजाने वाले हैं, ये आलाप है, अब ये स्वर होगा, ये जो भी होता है. Otherwise, others, you don't tell people कि हम क्या बजाने वाले, आए बजाए चले, हमें क्या पता है क्या बजा के चले गए।
After playing the initial rag, Panditji went on to explain that music primarily has two parts, the first being alap with tabla and the second being fixed compositions. While alap set the mood for the evening with invocations, the three compositions that followed were improvisations.
It was really wonderful, but the hot weather, in spite of the hot weather, we really enjoyed it. It's, meditational, you meditate. You go inside, deep inside, when the music starts.
The first composition was called Rupak Tal, played in 7 beats. Panditji soon gave a full taste of his skill as he went on to create rhythm and pace on the santur through Ardha Tal, played on 16 beats. Followed by Teen Tal, played on 16 beats again.
I was very much influenced by Chintamani Deshmukh's work here because he was a really genuine lover of culture, and he believed that by bringing two cultures together, it was possible to bring two nations together. So that was the objective with we sought, and that's why most of our concerts are for non-Indians. I've designed it that way.
However sophisticated the means and complex the structure, there was an innocence in his performance that made it very special. Panditji put this entire experience in simple words. Music, he said, should make you look inwards. He can create breathtaking illusions of continuity on this rather complicated instrument, which is why, of course, his name is synonymous with Santur. Well, it's now time for us to take a tiny break. Don't go anywhere. Colors of India will be right back. Welcome back. When it comes to Indian art, there is a large void and a lack of understanding amongst the populace. The Art Indulge Foundation is a group that is working towards this art cause while educating the audience. As part of this initiative, they organize art camps in various parts of India, and the outcome of the same was exhibited at the Hungarian Information and Cultural Centre here in Delhi. Titled Intrigued by India, the Zephyrs of Goa, the art show had works of both Indian and Hungarian artists.
The art camp runs for 10 days, during which the artists participate in excursions. They can go out anytime, look around. We organize programs so that they can meet the local people. Local people also can come and meet the artists, and there is interaction with the locals.
Ten artists from Hungary paid India a visit, and through their close interaction with fellow Indian artists and local residents, their art evolved. Goa was where they met, and the sea is a common theme in their artwork. For Yusuf Bole, it is the waves that held his fancy. For Tibor Brada, the landscape and the many imagery in Goa worked best.
Concept of Art Indulge is to bring people from all walks of life together. We are trying to cultivate an audience for art. Unless they live with the artists, unless they are part of what the art world is all about, the thinking, the emotions that go into a painting, I don't think art will get its place, or the artists will be looked up in society. So through the art holidays, non-artists being part of this kind of an art residency, we achieve that.
Non-artists were also a part of this camp. Raj Bandare, an architect, dressed up his canvas with sketches, alphabets and designs that inspired him. Rajesh Solagonkar, who is a Goan, repeated the fish imagery in his artwork that seems to have been influenced by Gond art.
I think it's a very refreshing exhibition. The very idea, the very concept, I think it's wonderful because it does not only emphasize the profit point of view, which is nowadays sometimes one has the feeling that people are just out to make money with art, whether it's good or bad. So this kind of concept that you go to different places and you're holding workshop with artists from all over the world, I think it's a wonderful idea. And if it catches on, I think there's no dearth of talent in India that you produce beautiful works.
From known artists to complete newbies, the works of every artist in residence at the camp were displayed in this exhibition. Growing up, we have all painted the walls. There is an artist in each and every one of us, and the trick is to bring that person to the surface all over again. Now, the Chinese Shang Dao Art Ensemble performed here in the capital, and the folk traditions that they showcased were an eye-opener to many. The ICCR brought to Delhi a face of China that one rarely gets to see. Xingja Makam Art Ensemble is a folk song and dance troupe that lays emphasis to the Islamic heritage in China and their cultural practices.
It feels very good, in India to see a performance come from our motherland, and feels we are back in China, and to see the Indian people they're enjoying this performance makes us feels very good, and then maybe we can do more this kind of performances to, to increase the understanding and friendship of two countries.
The show began with the Yuikar Makam of the Shingja, which has been chosen by the UNESCO as an oral and intangible cultural heritage. A makam is systematic musical structure that is both rhythmic and colorful. Similar music can be heard in Iranian and Turkish culture.
I enjoyed immensely because this is very unusual culture. I have been to Shanghai, I have been to Beijing and all, but I have not seen this sort of influence of the Muslim culture or the Middle Eastern culture, or the song that they sing, and also the dance they perform with the neck movement, very beautifully done, like what we see in Uzbekistan or what we see in Kathak dance and all. So it is very entertaining, and most entertaining was of course the acrobatic. It's amazing how this man could really perform all these acrobatic things, etc.
Juggling is an act that has been recorded in many early societies, including the Chinese, and the Xinjiang troupe was not to be left behind. The skill and the rare combination of acrobatics with coordination and robotics made the whole act highly entertaining.
It's a nice way to interact with the other, the people of other country. We could interact with some people there, though the language barrier was there, but it was very good.
When the women took to stage, it was the hats that did the trick. The hat dance seemed to have drawn heavily from many dance traditions, sometimes resembling Indian Kathak and at other times resembling Middle Eastern moves. The folk dance that followed was no different. Every last detail of the show was well thought of and organized. The costume and lighting and sound all did complete justice to the show, adding value to this production. The Xinjiang region is on the old Silk Route, which is why you can see the overlapping of many traditions. It's now time for us to take a tiny break on Colors of India. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Tanjore Painting, also known as Palagai Padam, which means picture on a wooden plank, is a highly evolved art form that's been around for centuries. An innovation in this is rare, which is why the exhibition Mystic Rapture was a special one. Mystic Rapture by Ishwari Priya Ranganathan at the Hungarian Information and Cultural Center was inaugurated by the Ambassador of Hungary, Dr. Janis Therini, while artist Naresh Kapuria was the chief guest.
this work, I saw a totally different thing, because when you see in the market, people are doing, all Tanjore work. I'm very happy, people are using this kind of material. But in this particular work, some embossed work and line work and drawing and color is totally different.
What makes Ishwari's version of Tanjore art special is that her religious paintings move beyond Hinduism, and the art itself has evolved to incorporate new imageries that are uncommon in Tanjore style. Tribal figures, Egyptian princes and Greek gods can all be seen here. It is a heavy task that she has undertaken, especially when there is but a fine line that divides this art form from kitsch.
I keep thinking, what else, what new formation we can give to our art. This is a 16th century art and we are in the 21st century. So we want something new. People ask for decorative purpose. So here we have the tribal and the Egyptian for decorative purpose. We have used Meenakari paints on some of the foils, which I think is different from other paintings.
Originally, Tanjore painting is an old South Indian tradition that dates back to the 17th century. The theme of this artwork has always been divinity. Gods and goddesses find their place in the center of the board behind embellishments of arches and curtains. These embellishments are made using gold foils and inlaid with precious and semi-precious stones, making these art pieces a collectible item.
I'm shocked to see the stupendous work here, and I've also bought this painting at the back, Om Shri Ganesha Nama. And I know the family for the last 15, 16 years, but I never knew this hidden talent which has just come up today.
Vibrant, rich colors and delicate and detailed craftsmanship is what gives Tanjore art its beauty and brilliance. The depth of her craftsmanship can easily be seen in the work that she's done. Now, an evening of fine sitar originals. That by itself is fantastic. More of that up next. The hall resonated with the strains of rich musical traditions entwined in a maze of sonic beauty generated by sitarist Sunira Kasliwal Vyas. Sunira, through her performance, paid homage to her late guru and mentor Pandit Uma Shankar Mishra of Maihar Gharana.
All the Maihar Gharana artists play this, and the other instrumentalists also. After that, I would like to play a little Thumri in Khamaj, Rag Khamaj. These are very traditional ragas, and I would like to present them in a very traditional way, which I have learned from my gurus. My foremost guru is Pandit Uma Shankar Mishra. Earlier, I have learned from Pandit Lalmani Mishra.
Sunira began with Rag Hemant, a composition by Baba Alauddin Khan from the Maihar Gharana. Sunira's caressing strokes on the guitar and her varying pattern of plucking the strings produced scintillating melody. The alap, jod and jhala were executed with utmost spontaneity and panache. An advocate of traditional classical music, Sunira believes in sticking to her classical Indian music roots.
So many years have been put into the learning of tradition, because I think tradition is very important. Whatever you want to do, the fusion or the creation or the improvisation, first you have to learn the tradition. Then only you can do the other things, you know. My first guru, Pandit Lal Mani Mishra, used to say, if your goal is to dance, वो कहते थे कि अगर नाचना आपका गोल है तो पहले खड़े होना आना चाहिए.
Sunira was accompanied by Rashid Zafar on the tabla, and as the evening progressed, the rhythm built into a crescendo. Slow compositions gave way to faster ones performed on teen tal. Her confidence in her technique was visible to an attentive viewer, and throughout her recital, Sunira was a model of peace and poise. The evening was rich in its blend of musical styles and traditions. And what a perfect way to end this episode. You can of course send in your suggestions and comments onto our Facebook page, and I will see you next week. Happy Easter, all of you.